Hey Cafe crew, Colin Smith here from PhotoshopCafe.com, and I love getting parcels. So right now we've got this package. I have a inkling that this might be a Google Pixel 5. Let's crack it open right now and find out. The Google Hyperspeed Helper. Some cool stuff in here. Let's pop this open. Ooh, nice. So we got Pixel Buds, the Google Pixel 5, 5G, and the 5 case. We use a Swiss Army knife, which is the Swiss Army knife of Swiss Army knives. All right, Team Pixel, thank you, Team Pixel, for this. This is not a sponsored video. However, this phone is a gift from Google, so thank you. Ooh, I like the color. Nice kind of lime green color. Nice. Fingerprint ID on the back, like that. And there's the phone. Wonder what color case they gave me. Oh, nice. I like that. Nice feel to it. Okay, let's get this phone into the case so I can get all scratched. And by the way, the punch hole camera is nice. That means there's no notch in there anymore. So we get to take advantage of the full screen without the videos being shrunk in and stuff like that. Sweet. Has a smoother kind of a nice kind of a matte finish on here. It's feels nice. And we pop it open and look at this. Nice. Magnetic. They snap in and out. USB-C on the bottom. Nice. Let's briefly talk about the Pixel 5, and then we're going to look at some photo and video examples. Okay, two big changes between the Pixel 4 and the 5. First one is the Face ID is not there anymore. Now it uses the fingerprint ID again, which I think is a really good move, because in this day and age right now, a lot of us are wearing masks, particularly when we're at the store. Face ID doesn't work. So you're having to type in your code, people watching, back to the finger ID. Personally, I like that as a smart move for right now. And the second thing about the 5, this was in the 3, but in the 4, they took out the ultra wide lens. And a lot of people were complaining because people like to shoot ultra wide for a lot of reasons. So they put back the ultra wide, it's back there again. Now we've got that, we've got the regular, and the zoom. And of course you can pinch to zoom if you want to zoom in a little bit more. The quality's not amazing when you do that, but if you're in a jam and you need that, it's nice to know it's there. Talking about the specs, there's one size now, so rather than having two sizes they had in the 4. So we have one size, one configuration, 128 gigs of storage. It has 8 gigs of RAM, uses a Snapdragon 765G, which some people are complaining about because there's a Snapdragon 865, which is faster and more powerful. But they keep the price down by doing that, so it keeps it to $699, which is significantly cheaper than the iPhone Pros. It has a 90 Hertz display, so when you're seeing the movement's very smooth. I like the punch hole camera, so there's no notch in there. So also this is water resistant. The 4AG is not, but the 5 is water resistant. And of course, you know, one of the big features is that this now has 5G support. So it works very well on the 5G, also supports 4G, of course, so it can go backwards and forwards between the two so you don't drop calls, and also so you can save power. Speaking of power, this has a ultra powerful battery which lasts longer, and it also has a battery saver mode where the battery can last up to 2 days. I have noticed that the battery life has been very good, as were the previous Pixel, but this one is definitely better. And it also supports reverse charging. That means I can take other wireless devices, such as the Pixel Buds, Pop them on the back here, and the buds can actually charge from the phone, so you can also use it for charging. Okay, let's jump in right now and have a look at some tests with the camera. First of all, we're going to look at some photographs. Remember, we've got the 3 different levels of zoom. We're going to test those, and then we're going to jump in and look at the stabilization for the video. And right now we're going to go out in the field and test the camera. We're going to start with photos, and then we're going to look at the video stabilization. So here we are in the camera, and notice there's a setting here to adjust the highlights and the shadows independently. Also notice there's a level on the screen to help us level our shots. Hit AE lock and it locks in nicely. Let's test the range. Ultra wide, wide. Then we can zoom in, and we can pinch to zoom in even more, which uses computational photography to get in really tight. Here's our ultra wide. Here's our wide or regular. Here's our zoom. And now let's punch all the way in, see what we can get. And you can see it's a little bit crazy, but they can zoom a lot. All right, here's just some different photos using the camera. And these are all unprocessed, straight out of camera. So you have the ability to simultaneously shoot RAW and JPEG, and you can actually go into the files and get all the files which I've downloaded. So here's the JPEG. Notice it has the processing already applied to it. Looks really good. The RAW file doesn't look good at all. So why is that? Well, that's because the RAW file needs to be processed, and it gives us more latitude. So let's click on Develop, and I'll show you. So if we go here, we can recover our highlights. Notice there's a lot more highlight detail in there. We can open up our shadows. We can increase our vibrance, hit our texture a little bit. And notice with just a little bit of adjustment here, if we go back, and this is without even spending much time on it, now you can see that the RAW file actually looks a lot better than the JPEG. So if you just want to use what comes out of the camera, JPEG is the way to go. If you're going to be processing them yourself afterwards, then consider shooting them in RAW. And I'm using the desktop, but you could also use Lightroom Mobile, or you can use Google Photos right there on the phone to edit these RAW files. Let's look at some of the other photo features. Start with Panorama. When you turn on Panorama, you see the little arrows will help you keep it level. Just hold down the photo button, and as you move it around, you can see it helps you build that panorama. And here it is. Then we can do a 360 here from the regular camera. You just follow this dot and it enables you to create a whole 360-degree panorama. Takes a little patience. And here you can see the stitched 360, which you can actually view all the way around on the phone. And you could also upload it to Facebook and things. Now we're looking at the video recording, and this is with standard image stabilization applied. You can see when I hold the camera still, it'll lock in, and it gives a pretty kind of smooth look around. We're going to look at the different modes right now. There's 4. Starting with the standard mode. Here we are walking in standard. You can see there's a little bit of up and down bounce, but it's not bad. Test the panning. It's pretty smooth. It's not bad. A little jumping here and there, but pretty good. And now we're going to have a look at the active stabilization. And here we are zoomed all the way in, which is obviously a lot harder to do. Doesn't look quite as good. Let's zoom out. There we go. And you can see how that stabilization's working. A little bit more up and down bounce, I think, on this one. And we can pan. It seems to have a little bit of a smoother pan without the jerkiness. And another example of that. Here I'm moving a little bit faster. A little wobbling here and there, but it's not bad. Now we're going to have a look at locked. And locked is quite nice because what it'll do is it will lock it in. As soon as you stop moving, it'll freeze the frame. And you can see here we're going to do it, wide and zoomed in. You can see it locks it in pretty good. It also works with the photo with the camera. When you zoom in, it uses this to lock it. You can see there, it's not bad. This is zoomed in. And generally it'd be very hard to hold this stable. So this is good, when you're not moving the camera and you're just letting the action happen in front of the camera. So, it kind of simulates a tripod. All right, and let's have a look at cinematic pan. So what cinematic pan does is it slows down the speed to half speed so you don't get sound, but you do get a very, very smooth pan. So this is strictly for B-roll only, and you'd have to record your sound separately. But when you want those nice smooth pans, this is just handheld on the phone. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this in the comments underneath. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button into dust, and until next time, I'll see you at the cafe.